What have you seen from him in practice and in games to, you know, I guess where he stands at this point?
Well, we're excited about Preston. We think he's been really a bright spot in terms of the new guys coming into the program, him being undrafted. And he's come a long way from where he started here in the spring and had a really good preseason in terms of our camp. So we're excited about Preston. I don't think there's been any regression, which was part of, I think sometimes we don't give guys as many reps, as the progression of the preseason goes, just because he's shown us enough in practice about what his abilities are and where we think he could help us offensively. And plus there's an evaluation period of a lot of other players that you're trying to get a good evaluation of and trying to make the comparisons by giving them those other players some reps and seeing how that stacks up with the group. And but I think overall Preston's had a really good camp.
Who's the best slot receiver on your roster now? Do you think it's Albert?
Well, Albert just got out there, so he's. It was good to have him back practicing, and he had some reps in the Saints game. He looks really good. So for the time that he's had off recovering from his injury, and now he's back to, close to full speed and doing some really good things. I think he's going to be a very dynamic. One of those caliber players that could play for us in the slot. Jakeem is the same type of player. So we do feel pretty comfortable about where Albert is and Jakeem. So we do think that both those guys will be very effective for us.
A couple of years ago, Karl, the former staff moved Jakeem from the slot to the boundary, thinking he'd be more effective there, and he was. Do you agree that outside is where he's best suited as opposed to slot, Jakeem?
I think he has a really good skill set to play both, to be honest with you. He's the previous staff did use him primarily on the outside, I think, and I think for ourselves we're going to use him both inside and outside. He's done enough in his development, from what I've seen, to do some of those things outside very effectively. And we're going to also utilize his skill set because he's such a dynamic runner with the ball in his hands that he'll play in the slot as well. So we're going to plan on using him both in both scenarios.
Do you have a feel yet? I don't know if you can share this. The four receiver sets at this point. Do you think it'd be Allen ahead of Preston?
Well, I'm not going to share any game planning situations of what we'll do, but we have great versatility, I'll tell you that. So we feel really comfortable about this group in terms of their inside-outside versatility. And, we're going to devise plans to try to put our players in positions that we think that can make us pretty effective on offense. So that's a good thing for us offensively as coaches, but it's just a matter of putting the guys in the right spots on certain things that we do.
And one last thing. I know it was a very tough call among Allen Hurns, Bryce Butler, Isaiah Ford. What ultimately gave Hurns the edge to be here on the 53rd?
He came in here, actually mid-camp, with an opportunity to learn our offense, and he had to do it at such a fast rate that, he came in and did some nice things. I think a lot of what, it was a tough decision on this whole situation because there was so much competition, particularly in developing who are your final 5 or 6 players. But he came a long way from the process of being here such a short time. He seems to be recovered from that injury that he's had from last year, and his experience and knowledge and ability has really helped him kind of get to the point that he is now. So we're excited to have him.
And Devontae, with Kenny gone, Devontae appears to be, perhaps your number one guy. Your expectations for him?
Right now, we don't know. I won't say there's anybody that's slated that way. Our offense is, if you've seen this system, and even with the Patriots, they have a number of guys that play a number of different roles and don't necessarily have that guy. And I think we're still built the same way. It's an exciting group that I think will make challenges for defenses to cover. And again, like I said earlier, we're going to try to make sure we do a great job of putting guys in numerous places to make them effective. And whoever's the hot guy that particular game may have 8 catches. Whoever's not may not. But you never know how that's going to shake out depending on the game plan and how teams try to defend us.
You excited about Devontae, though, specifically?
Absolutely. He's had a great spring and a great camp. He got a little bit nicked up towards the middle of camp. But he's back full speed now. We're excited to get going and get started this week.
You're on a really great receiver, but you got a great group.
Yeah, we have a really good group. I'm excited about the group. It's it's a lot of different body types and sizes and athletic skills, and it's a nice group to have. It's not everybody's kind of one type of guy, and that's what's going to make us a little bit more dynamic than most teams that have our skill set.
With Bobby for one question, Albert Wilson's dynamic playmaking ability. We've seen just in the one preseason game, tunnel screen, slant route, deep pass, end around. His versatility, how big of an asset is Albert Wilson for the offense?
Just by the way you described it, that shows a lot about our excitement about what he can do. He's a great all-around player. I think just a very good football player that runs good routes. He can be on in the backfield doing certain things. He can run on reverses. He can run across the field and run certain concepts. So he's a very instinctive player that really understands the game, and he understands seeing certain areas and zones to get open and to separate versus man. So he has a great mindset as a player about understanding what he's dealing with and being effective within those elements. So we're happy to have him back. He's back on the field. He feels comfortable now, getting a chance to get back on the field and get his feet wet. And it's kind of in a hurry-up fashion now because he's missed most of the spring and camp. But I'm excited that he's kind of back healthy again, playing with us, and he's chomping at the bit right now.
I feel like the Saints game he was just like, he caught that long pass and he screamed, then he was like dying to release all of that.
Exactly, and a lot of it was to prove that he's okay. And that's the point, that we want him to play a few plays in that game, was just to let him get tackled and kind of get the elements of a game to kind of shake off the rust and then get yourself comfortable playing again. And that was what our purpose was.
With this offensive line needing to develop tremendously this season, how important is it for you guys to get the ball quickly to Albert, to Jakeem, to some of the running backs as well, to get it out of their hands, get it to a playmaker's hands as soon as possible?
Well, yeah, I think that's very important just from a offensive strategy standpoint, is to be able to do some things from getting the ball out fast on the perimeter to, getting a chance to attack defenses in certain ways. I think good offenses do that. They try to make the defense defend the field. And so we're going to have to make sure we're doing those things offensively for us because of the skill set of guys we have. I just said that we have some guys that with the ball in their hands quickly can make people miss and have enough speed to make effective plays downfield. So, we're going to be able to do a lot of those things, and with the speed that we have at the position too, we can also try to stretch the field too. So it's a good problem or a good asset of skill sets for us as a receiver group to attack a defense, but I think they have to understand that we're trying to make them defend the field, and then we're going to try to pick and choose what we need to do.
What was it that he showed you that stood out above everything else?
When we did our evaluation of him before the draft, and it was just, we saw this big athletic kid that he had some really good versatility for his size. He's almost 6'5". He runs well. He was a punt returner. A guy at 6'5" being a punt returner. Things like that you saw in college. And we were fortunate that after the draft and he wasn't picked, that we said, wow, here's a great opportunity to work with a guy that had tremendous potential. Well, he lived up to that. He's a fun kid to coach. Very bubbly personality. Very confident kid. I think he's got a long way to go in terms of understanding his complete skill set, but I think he's a guy that will be a really good player in this league in time. So he proved that over the course of the spring, got better and better, and as he learned our system, had a great preseason camp. You saw the first game he played really well. I was, even though he didn't have any catches against Jacksonville, he was going against their best people, and he was still getting open, so that was excited to see. So I think he's got tremendous potential to blossom into a really good player for us, and we're excited about that.
Question, if I may. Alan Hearns is a guy who kind of had a very quiet, low-key training camp summer, and I think, again, amongst the media folk, maybe it may have been a surprise making the 53rd. What did you guys see in him?
He did everything right. That's basically what he's done. Alan doesn't say much, doesn't talk much. You don't see him with any type of drawing any attention to himself. But if you watch his play and his snaps in games, he was in the right spot and he was open. He was doing the right thing in the run game. He was playing like a great veteran should play. And he's such a professional. and I think he has a quiet confidence about what he brings to our group. And he was just one of those guys that had to learn our system quickly because we picked him up late, and he had to do that, and he was able to do that. So he was a good pickup and surprise for us, and we're excited to have him.